Hitler knows that he will have to break us in this island or lose the war. If we can stand up to him, all Europe may be freed. The life of the world may move forward into broad, sunlit upland. But if we fail, then the whole world, including the United States, including all that we have known and cared for, will sink into the abyss of a new dark age, made more sinister and perhaps more protracted by the lights of perverted science. Let us therefore brace ourselves to our duty. So bear ourselves that if the British Empire and its Commonwealth last for 1,000 years, men will still say, this was their finest hour.
So spoke Winston Churchill as British Prime Minister in the dark days of the Second World War. And what he then said and thought and did is now historic.
Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few.
Words that roused the world. Words that matched great moments in British history.
But sure confidence that I say, let God defend the right. These cruel, wanton, indiscriminate bombings of London are, of course, a part of Hitler's invasion plan. He hopes, by killing large numbers of civilians and women and children, that he will terrorize and cow the people of this mighty imperial city. Little does he know the spirit of the British nation.
Little indeed did the enemy know of the spirit of the British nation and of this born leader who served it. Here in bombed Coventry, which became a symbol of Britain's spirit of survival, we see him as the spirit that fought back. At his side now, Field Marshal Smuts of South Africa, former general of the Boer War, which failed to cage the spirit of young Winston Churchill. Former enemy, now turned friend and advisor. Friends from the Commonwealth and allies from Europe, men of hope and courage. The British Commonwealth, Europe, and the world. He saw civilization as a rampart against savagery. He saw the struggle of a mighty canvas. And when Britain, with the help of her friends overseas, was recovering and building up her power, and the struggle shifted to the Western Desert, Winston Churchill followed the events of war hour by hour, not only distantly, but in person. A man there was, as human as the rest, one quick to tears and anger, swift in jest. Pearl Harbor had burned. The United States had joined forces with the Commonwealth. And long before the great battles of the Western Desert, Churchill had found a friendly ally in Franklin D. Roosevelt and a place in the heart of the American people.
The fact that my American forebears have for so many generations played their part in the life of the United States, and that here I am, an Englishman, welcomed in your midst, I cannot help but reflecting that if my father had been American and my mother British, instead of the other way around, I might have got here on my own.
It was with this Anglo-American confidence behind him and his own supreme confidence in the Commonwealth forces sharing the fighting of great battles alongside the British troops that he went on to witness victory in the Western Desert.
We have victory. A remarkable and definite victory. A bright gleam has caught the helmets of our soldiers and warmed and cheered all our hearts. Rommel's army has been defeated. It has been routed. It has been very largely destroyed as a fighting force. This is not the end. It is not even the beginning of the end, but it is perhaps the end of the beginning.
The end of the beginning. There were to follow dramatic flights, and it was characteristic that this enthusiastic pioneer of military aviation should sometimes take control. Flights not only to American allies, but to Russia. The war to smash Hitler brought him close to the rulers of Russia. Momentous journeys and momentous meetings culminated with the famous conference at Yalta with Stalin and President Roosevelt, both of whom he was to survive. Less formal were some of his meetings with a future President of the United States. Frequent meetings with the man then known as General Eisenhower. Meetings and conferences which culminated in that greatest of all military exploits,